Hello and welcome to the first official episode of the rebranded Wisdom-Led Business Podcast. And today I want to talk about something that, as a business owner or leader, I suspect you might recognise. I know I do. It's those moments when you have a decision to make and you think, let me think about this properly because that's how I'm going to find the right answer. So you sit with it and you analyse the problem. Consider all the possible scenarios, the potential problems, and the what ifs. And even after careful thinking, you're still not quite clear if what you've come up with is the right answer. Not just any old answer, but the right answer. So you put it to one side, you carry on with something else, thinking that you're going to revisit the problem again later. And this becomes a default pattern. Now, obviously, logical thinking is incredibly valuable, but it's not the only tool you have at your disposal to reach a decision. If you only use your logic, there are important missing elements, which is why this pattern of overthinking and abandoning problems only to revisit them keeps on happening. And it can become a regular habit. Logical skills like the ability to reason, assess risk, plan, forecast, these are all skills worthy of cultivating. And when you can do those things well, they are part of what makes you good at what you do and helps you navigate life and business to a degree. And I would never suggest abandoning your head-brain thinking. It's a crucial part of the process. But that's the point. It's part of the process. It's not the whole process. And if you rely solely on it, you can end up going round and round in circles and tweaking your plans again and again, feeling ready to take action one day and doubting yourself the next, or copying someone else and then quietly questioning what you're doing. Often, it's simply because one part of you is making the decision and the other parts of you haven't been fully included. And what parts am I talking about? The heart intelligence and gut wisdom. So, let me ask you, how have you been making your decisions? Because you may listen to this and think, but that's not my problem. I don't take time to think. I jump in on gut instinct and don't consider the consequences. Or perhaps you're thinking, but that's not me. I just get so passionate about things. I follow my heart, but it often comes back to bite me. So next time you're approaching a problem, ask yourself, where do I feel it in my body when I think about this particular challenge? Is it happening inside your head with lots of mental activity and lots of analysing? Or is there a heaviness or a tightness in your chest? Is there a fluttering or churning in your stomach? This is the first stage, awareness. Where am I feeling it? Because that is a clue. And once you know where the feelings you're feeling are coming from, you can start to interpret what that really means, to understand better what's going on for you in that moment and how to better reach your best solution. Even our language leaves clues. I just need to think about it properly. This is making my head hurt. Obviously, this indicates head dominance. Or you could be thinking, oh, I love that. I feel so passionately about it. It's really important to me. Or I have a connection to it. And that's a heart-focused response. Or you may be feeling, oh, that turns my stomach. I've got butterflies in my tummy. That's like a punch to the gut. That doesn't feel like me. This is indicating gut expression dominance. And these are all clues. They can tell you which brain is dominating, whether you're using the right brain to lead the right decision, or which brain isn't being heard. And these are the reasons why something doesn't feel right or why you can't move forward with complete confidence. It's why you're hesitating. These clues also help you to know what to do next in terms of getting a better answer. So we balance the nervous system so that our head, heart, and gut are in coherence, and that allows us to hear the wisdom which comes through when we practice M-braining or multiple brain integration techniques. It's when we're deaf to or unaware of what's going on inside, or we force one of the brains to do all the work because we believe that's how it should be done, or we suppress or ignore messages and wisdom that's trying to guide us. That's when this stop, start, push, pull dynamic happens. So let's think of an example. Imagine someone, I'll call her Emma. Emma runs a successful service-based business, and she's approached by someone who wants to form a partnership that would potentially significantly increase Emma's income. So on paper, it looks excellent, and Emma's excited. The numbers stack up, the exposure for her and her business is very appealing, and the potential for future growth is obvious. So why does Emma keep revisiting this decision? Why isn't it an easy yes? Why does Emma feel some resistance? She tells herself she just needs more clarity, but more information makes no difference. Her head is enthusiastic, her heart feels neutral, slightly flat, and her gut feels a little tight. When she asks herself, what do I actually want? She realizes she wants growth, but not at the expense of creative control. Her heart values autonomy. She wants to run her business her way, to do what she loves most. But this proposal feels like restriction, not freedom. Her gut is protective of her identity. This new idea would demand her to do things that don't feel like her. She went into business for herself so that she didn't need to do the things that her previous corporate job demanded when her job evolved into something she didn't sign up for. Emma decides to sit down and practice some multiple braining. Once she's balanced her nervous system by even breathing for 3 or 4 minutes, she communicates with all 3 of her major neural networks or brains: her head, her heart, and her gut. By bringing each one of these into the conversation, decision becomes clear. It feels obvious, it feels right. And there's a sense of calm and certainty that settles over her. And then Emma starts to feel excited. She's reconnected with her purpose and life feels lighter. Her focus is back and her passion is reignited. She's ready. When your head and heart and gut are aligned, decisions feel very different. They feel calmer. They're not adrenaline fueled. They're not forced. They're not scary. This isn't just a work thing. Multiple braining is a life skill and it can be used for any decision and any problem. It does take a little time, but rather than slowing you down, it's actually reducing the need to revisit things repeatedly. So it's a huge time saver. And there's so much less mental noise, less second guessing, less anxious overthinking. And when you embody that, it has a ripple effect on your business, on your personal choices, on family life and beyond. So perhaps this week, just notice. If there's a decision you've been circling, ask yourself, which part of me has been dominating this question? Is it my head? Is it my heart? Is it my gut? Which part has been quiet? Have I been ignoring important information that my body has been trying to tell me? Have I been trying to force one brain to come up with the answer because I assume it's a head thing, or a heart thing, or a gut thing, when in fact the right answer will be aligned with all 3? Time to include all of you in the conversation. Because logical thinking, which is often our default at work, is powerful. It's just not meant to carry the whole weight on its own. And heart thinking, which can kick in when we have decisions to make about family, is completely appropriate, but on its own it can be unhelpful. It needs the balance of the head and the gut too. When head, heart and gut are working together, work and life feel less like relentless effort and struggle and more like intention and flow. And that's what we're all about at the Wisdom Led Business. Thank you so much for listening, And if you'd like to find out more about how I can help you, all the details and links are in the show notes. And of course, I'd love a positive review if you have a moment to share what you enjoy about these episodes. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you know anyone who would benefit too, let them know about the Wisdom Led Business podcast. I'll see you next time.